folks, I always like to say we're back. I like that. I mean, we are. We're back from yesterday. We're last week. It is Friday. We are here at Circuit World in Blue Ridge, Georgia. It's raining a little bit. It's okay. Well, we used to say what? April showers, but we're in February. So maybe in March we'll start seeing some spring warm weather. Okay, I'm your host, BKP. We're at Circuit World. Let me tell you what all we have going on today. We have Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley and Dr. Raymond Tidman. They are both here in the house. Going to have a great segment there, have some good questions. I always step out and say this. It is the best. You have about 6 minutes to tell your friends, and I'm serious. It's the best doctor segment in the U.S. of A. We won't go worldwide yet. I haven't looked around the globe. Then we have the all-star political panel. Joanne is back this morning. We'll have Rick, Bruce, and Joanne. Emily, I think they're going to have something to say. I might just take that 45 minutes off and just rest here on one of these big couches at Circuit World because I know they have some things to say in the all-star political panel this morning. And then we're going to round it out. We always love to round out the week, the show, with the star. No, it's not Dr. Whaley. He's pretty famous. It's not the all-star political panel. It's our pet of the week from the Humane Society in Blue Ridge. So we're always excited about this Friday show. It means what, Emily? It's Friday. We just exhale, don't we, Emily? And then we have what we call, I'm gonna clue the whole entire world in on it now. It's no longer just us. Then comes No Alarm Saturday, right? That's what I call it. All right, let me just say this. You know, when I'm opening up in the morning on Friday and I have 2 or 3 minutes in an opening, I try to think like, okay, what is the big story or what is going on out there that we really should cover? And obviously, the daytime soap opera that is being played, Impeachment 2.0. One, we'll get into this with the all-star political panel, but never is a big word, right? Never is a big word. And I've never in my life watched people that hate a man as bad as Donald J. Trump want to erase him from history and want to erase us that voted for him. I'll tell you, I've never seen that. Now, think about this. I'm gonna put this in a real simple box, okay? Now, on January 6th, in no way whatsoever did I advocate, okay, going into the Capitol, breaking windows, vandalizing things, okay? Now, obviously, I see that the same way everywhere. Not just our nation's capital. I see at no time it's okay to break into things, break windows, vandalize, steal. I see it's not right to put graffiti on the walls. So that being said, let's keep this clear. It's our capital. And the Capitol was not set up that day for the American people to come in. Now our government on all levels is using COVID to keep us out of our government buildings. Yes, they are. Right all the way down to the local city council meeting, county commissioners meetings, Board of Education meetings. Now, a lot of them are public still, but a lot of these meetings now, you, the people that pay the taxes, you can't go anymore. You can watch them on TV. They're Zoom meetings, so you cannot get involved. So using COVID, obviously, they did not have on January 6th, all right? They did not have the Capitol set up for the American people to go in and witness this. Now, let's just go back because nobody died. I know what the argument will be. But let's go to the Brett Kavanaugh Senate Judiciary hearings. On that day, and you're going to say, well, there was no pandemic, no COVID. But on that day, the Capitol was set up to bring in the protesters. It was set up with enough people to get all the protesters in the Capitol that wanted to be in the Capitol. Okay? Now, we've watched video of people chasing, look like Mitt Romney running down the hall, and we've watched video of Chuck Schumer, one thing after the other. But during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, the galleries were full, the hallways were full, and they were screaming at lawmakers. And I just want you to think about something, okay? Remember the famous in-your-face video with Jeff Flake? You remember the woman that chased Arizona Senator Jeff Flake into an elevator, okay? Were you worried about Jeff Flake's life that day? Were you concerned that this person had attacked the Capitol? I mean, seriously, I just want you to think that. You remember that video when that woman had Jeff Flake in the elevator and she was screaming at him, videoing it, and he was looking down? I'm just saying. This January 6th, past January 6th, so much was wrong. People died. Everything about that is wrong. But I just wish we would stop and think of what they're taking away from us on all levels. You see, if you just go home and you say, okay, this is okay, that's not okay, you and I know what we're watching. Today, the impeachment trial continues, right? It continues today. And the Donald Trump defense team will probably not take the entire day on their side. But I want you to stop and think, while this whole impeachment thing is going on, of the protest that they facilitated, made sure happened. You see, that day on January 6th, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all their crowd, they were in hiding. But I'm going to tell you what, they made sure well in advance. They pre-planned Kavanaugh's attack on Kavanaugh. That's right. Get real of what really is happening in this country. Okay, the Joe Obama, is that what it is? Joe Biden, the Obama administration, we'll talk about that later. I better get off this subject, right? And leave it for the All-Star Political Panel. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Dr. Raymond Tidman and our doc that has some questions waiting right here, Dr. William Whaley.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
It's been 4 generations of family ownership, tens of thousands of customers, and more Chevys than we'd ever be able to count. And more than 60 years later, when we say Days gets it done, we still mean it. With the North Georgia Mountains lowest Chevy prices, a huge selection, and outstanding customer care. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and let's get it done.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
North Georgia is truck country, and nobody discounts Chevy trucks like Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save $8,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save $5,700 on the all-new body style Equinox. Every Chevy truck and SUV discounted big. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, the low-price leader in truck country.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Folks, we're back. It's now time for Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley and Dr. Raymond Tidman. We always want to thank North Georgia Cancer Research affiliated with Northside Hospital. Now, usually at this time, okay, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Don't you interrupt. No, you're not.
Okay, right.
This is one time you're not. Okay, usually, wait a minute. I'm going somewhere here.
All right.
Usually at this time, okay, they bring out like, they all put on sombreros or something, and everybody circles your table and brings cake with a candle and sings happy birthday. But that's not going to happen here.
No, please.
Okay. But you know what I mean?
That'd be a torch.
We should have got everybody right, and,
Yes.
and so, but it's somebody's birthday. Can I say that?
Sure.
I
why
already
not?
said that.
Right, I've done it 81 times.
You've done it 81 times?
Yeah, I'm getting good at it.
Well, you're not new around here, are you?
No. Jeremy? Hey, Jeremy, you got a TV over here that's as big as the whole end of this set. How many inches is that thing?
85.
Well, it's my birthday, and I'm 81. Do I get to take that with me?
I'll see what I can do.
All right, good.
That is the first thing you said when you walked in this
I
morning.
did. I don't want the cupcake. That thing needs to be over a bar somewhere.
You don't
If
want
you
the you don't want the cake,
If you
right?
want to do something,
more
give
like
me
a
that
dance floor to
Give me
me.
that TV. All right. Anyway.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you very much. I told you not to say anything about that.
Did you tell me that?
I did, yeah.
Did you?
It's a beautiful day in North Georgia. It's raining like crazy. And
Well, I'm gonna tell all. This
All right,
is
go
a
ahead.
tell all segment.
all right, go ahead.
Because I just got a phone call a minute ago and said you better wish Dr. Whaley a happy birthday. So not only did I know it was your birthday, I actually got a call saying it better happen.
That must have been from your wife.
I'm not telling you who that was from.
All right. So let's
Moving,
go to work.
moving right along, Dr. William Whaley,
All right,
Dr.
all right. Let me
Raymond
tell you what we got here. I am excited about what happened today. I don't know where these two questions came from, except 2 weeks ago we were talking about the long-term complications of something, and there is a condition. There is a phrase in oncology that I've been in the business for 50 years that's new to me in the last 15, called survivorship. And it's the thought that there's so many people that have survived cancer, and then the long-term effects, and then how you watch for those. So this first question here says, my husband, well written too, I might add, is a strong 55-year-old man with no medical issues, and he runs 20 miles a week. He is a cancer survivor of stage 3 rectal cancer 10 years ago. He must have a family history because he had that at 45. Successfully treated at Northside Hospital with surgery that followed radiation treatment and some chemo where he wore a pump. He had regular tests and scans for 5 years and regular annual visits until 10 years without a recurrence. He now has male performance issues, and his PCP has diagnosed testosterone deficiency and tells him it's a long-term result of his cancer treatments. What do you think? Do you think he's lost interest, and can he be helped? Well, I think Ray's well positioned to comment on this in a minute. Put up that first thing, would you?
And while she's putting that up, let me say this. Over the years that we've done this, I've learned one or two things
I hope
here.
so.
Yes. But what I have learned is everything you need, both of you, when you're getting a question, everything you need to provide the answer. And this is a well-written question. It has age, and it has everything you need in here.
Right. Let me go first and say the guy was young,
Right.
so he may have a positive family history. Second, that's
Obviously healthy. When I say healthy, he's able to run.
well, there's nothing wrong with
Right.
it. He just had cancer 10
Right.
years ago. What? How many years ago was it?
It said 10 years ago.
All right. No, it was for 10 years he was followed with it. 10 years ago. All right. So he was treated with the state-of-the-art treatment we would be using today. He's got to have had positive lymph nodes. He took a lot of chemotherapy. He got radiation therapy, and he's in great shape now. Put up that first slide. This is every time you see one of those, you know something's on the rise, right?
Yes.
Like back here when we were talking about COVID, there were 40 cases in Fannin County. Now there are 2,000. This is the number of long-term cancer survivors every year. So what we're doing with cancer treatment, you see that number? So right now the number is 29 million, and you're going to have 45 million in another 10 years. Okay, you can bring that thing down. What that says is we're doing so good at treating cancer that people are having long-term surviving that they didn't really have 30 years ago. I mean, this is new. And so the issue of the type of cancer he had, the type of treatment he had, would have had an 85% death rate or 95% death rate by surgery alone 40 years ago. So now most of those people in that age group are being cured. And so you do have this long-term accumulation of things that might happen with various forms of treatment. Put up that next one. It won't be up there very long. But this is talking just about breast cancer. But it says the endocrine therapy of patients with breast cancer, the long-term effects of endocrine therapy. And we're going to come into this back here in just a minute. Pull that thing down here. But what happens when you get this radiation in your lower abdomen here, and you have surgery in your lower abdomen? You can do a couple of things. One, the radiation can, over long term, sort of kill off the testicular function, or the surgery can affect the blood supply to the gonads there and lower testicular function. But more importantly, 30 to 45% of men, when they hit age 50, begin to have performance issues anyway, who have not had any surgery for cancer or radiation. All right, throw that next one up there. So articles such as this, the risk of failure after radiation therapy for rectal cancer, a prospective cohort study, pull that thing down. The science of studying this is relatively new in the last 20 years. And I mean, in the next question, we're going to come to a whole new field of oncology. But what this says is that there is a whole group of research and mechanisms for following people to predict what type of problems they might have from various types of cancer therapy. It's crystal clear. This guy went to his PCP for his annual exam, and okay, Ray, he came in. Where are you going from here? Because now we know he's got testicular function, but he came in there complaining of performance.
Yeah. When you get to that second part of your answer, will you address whether in his survivor state his surveillance for colon cancer changes going forward? So he, as you noted, he's a man who is in that age group where their testicular function starts going down anyway. He's probably had some injury to his gonads from his treatment.
Oh, no doubt about that.
So the question for men, unlike women, men don't have overt hypogonadal symptoms. You know, they don't have the hot flashes and the mood changes and all the stuff that makes ladies miserable. They just get sullen and withdrawn, and they lose their sex drive, and sometimes their performance and their ego goes down. So for men,
that was what she asked.
That's the very thing she asked about.
Losing interest? See, that's the ego thing. I don't think that he's not losing interest. He's
scared of his performance.
He's scared. Yeah.
So many times the wife will bring the husband in and say, "This is not the man I married. You know, something's wrong here." And the guy's like, "Well, I don't know what's wrong. You know, it's life for me." But so they are living with a condition that they need not. The other thing I like to look at is if you've got parents that live past your current age, you have a window into the future because you saw them live like they are. Well, if you've outlived your parents, or if you've survived a cancer, outlived a cancer, you're on the other side of a black screen. You don't have any examples in your life of what that's supposed to be like. So for him, it may be, okay, well, I guess is what life's all about now, but it doesn't have to be that way. So more and more men, if they would address this, there are simple therapies for this, and they're getting easier. I mean, there's a new testosterone injection module that's only once a week that they can give themselves, and they don't even know they've given themselves a shot. So, yeah, this is very addressable. It's very monitorable, and the results are often improve quality of life.
Let me ask you this question. Yeah. Do you routinely, in a new comprehensive, first time you're seeing a patient, taking a really good history from a man, and he's in his 50s or 60s, do you routinely measure testosterone?
No.
Okay. That is a history factor that says I should measure testosterone.
Yeah.
Or a physical examination where you have marked testicular atrophy. All right, so anyway, that's survivorship. So we've introduced the concept of survivorship, which includes, Ray brought it up, I should have brought it myself. Part of his follow-up was 1 year after surgery, he had a colonoscopy. 3 years after 3 years after surgery, he had a colonoscopy. At 5 years, he had a colonoscopy. At 10 years, he had a colonoscopy. But they took care of all that. She said he was regularly getting follow-up. And at 10 years, they turned him back over to the general medical population, and that's where he is now today. Now, do you have any questions about that?
No, I do not.
All right, okay, because the next one introduces this concept to a little bit different degree. And I have a patient wait a minute, I can ask you this question now. This question we've answered for the last 5 years on this program. When do you know you're cured of cancer? You remember the answer?
When you die.
of something else.
When you die of something else.
When you
Well, I knew
die
that-
of something
I knew
else.
the second part. When you die
Okay,
of something
because
else.
it's so long. Okay, my daughter had treatment for Hodgkin's disease with chemo and radiation therapy 7 years ago and is having no problems. She is 38 years old and had all of her children that she wanted before she had cancer. She goes for regular follow-up visits, and the oncologist has now mentioned sending her to see an oncocardiologist. Oncocardiologist. That's a new word for you, BKP.
Yes. I'm looking at that, and I like what comes afterwards.
Aren't you glad that I pronounced it for you?
Oncocardiologist.
All right.
A lot of vowels there.
I like that. What is that?
You know,
That's where I'm at.
Well, you also like I pronounced it for you, right? Okay, what is that, and what do you think she should do? All right. Well,
I'm with her. What is that?
All right. Well, I'm gonna hit on something else first. Put up that next one.
Because in all the years we've done this, I've never heard that.
I understand. I told you this is a new field called survivorship. All right. Okay. Put up this next one. This is the most common thing we hear about patients with chemotherapy. Not they're going to send them to an oncologist, and not they got testicular failure. What's that say?
Chemo brain may
All right.
not be limited to chemotherapy.
All right, you see, is that up there for everybody? Okay, there's not. You can pull it down. Now, there's not anybody who's ever gone through cancer treatment with aggressive cancer treatment. If you did a lumpectomy or took a little skin cancer off something, but once they get into major treatment with chemotherapy, hormones, radiation, everything, these targeted therapies I've talked about, genetic therapies, people talk about chemo brain, and there really is some degree of psychological or objective mental change during chemotherapy, radiation, and everything else. And that isn't as well monitored as this next bit is. Put up the next one. Cardio-oncology and breast cancer. Well, this the only reason I put this up is it's more common for breast cancer than it is for Hodgkin's, but they're exactly the same treatments. You say chemotherapy risk. These two drugs are chemotherapies that can affect the heart. And then radiation, this patient received it, breast cancer patients receive it, and to the same area. And then long-term risks of preventing heart disease and surveilling for heart disease. Okay, pull that down. That's where this whole concept of surveillance started, was in the cardiac long-term effects of getting radiation and or chemotherapy or some of these targeted agents, and what happens over the long haul. So what's going on in this young woman with the Hodgkin's disease is she's in some sort of a real high-tech oncology follow-up program. She's being followed by some people who really know what they're doing. Put up the next one. Wait a minute, hold it down for a second. Cause of death. Remember that common things are common, right? And approximately half the deaths in this country are cardiovascular. So one out of every 3 adults have cardiovascular disease. 1 out of every 3. Now, if you've got all of these different cancer survivors, 30% of patients that receive cancer therapy will, in the long term, have cardiovascular complications. So that raises the number significantly. And the last line of that says what, BKP? Some complications may not become apparent for
10 to 20 years,
20 years after completion of treatment. Pull it down. So that's where this cardio-oncology surveillance programs come from. So what they did here is this young woman is in a program, in a place being followed where they have become aware of these long-term complications. They have created a group that is dedicated to the long-term follow-up of the heart issues. They might, this young woman, she's already had all of her kids. I think they told us that, so she doesn't have to worry
Yes.
about fertility. and she hasn't said anything about her lungs. So basically what they're saying is, we would like for you to be followed by a heart specialist, probably have an echocardiogram, take a pretty thorough history. He's going to tell you how important it's going to be to maintain your blood pressure, cholesterol, and get on an exercise program. But every year or two, and then maybe every 2 or 3 years, he's going to probably want to see you back to help you know if you're developing something that can be prevented. So that then has created, now remember, this is all after the event. Put up the next one, it'll be up just a second. This is all brand new. So now this is the European Society of Medical Oncology. This is the American College of Cardiology and the American Society of Clinical Oncology. All have gotten together, and what's that say? A baseline comprehensive cardio-oncology risk assessment is recommended before treatment starts or during the early portions of treatment. Pull that down. So what we did today is both of these questions address the idea of how do you follow the long-term effects of cancer treatment, how do you protect patients from the long-term effects, but you got to always remember, we're not treating athlete's foot here, we're treating cancer. These patients are long-term cancer survivors. Now, whose care are they in when they get through this business, this start-off business? Primary care doc. So now they have to cooperate with one another now, don't they? All right, Ray, Turner, take it, run with it.
Well, the things that are, there's a dividing line in my mind of how we deal with this. Our profession looks at the different things that take people out, how you can monitor them or pick them up, and how often you need to do that monitoring. Okay, and there's a lot of science and study that has to go into that. You know, my analogy is that if termites can chew a house up in 5 years, having your house checked for termites every 5 years is not going to do the job, right? So what I try to get my patients to understand is their own body and what they're at risk for. So Bill's talking about, well, somebody's going to go into a certain kind of cancer treatment and it has certain known organs that it attacks or it hurts. We need to get a baseline, and then we need to know how often to check that baseline going forward for how many every years. And that's as we get into more survivorship with cancers, lots more people are going to be surviving cancers. We got to get a lot more information out there. I'm still of the mind that the patient needs to be taught that they don't just turn it over to the healthcare field and see what.
100%. Patients, we're treating human beings here. We're not treating charts.
Yeah, right.
And before you ever start the treatment, you got to say, look, this cancer that you've got, say breast cancer, has got a 76% chance of long-term survival without chemotherapy or hormonal therapy that we can raise to 92%. And if we raise it to 92%, this is the downside. That might happen. Are you willing to take that risk? When we're talking about colon cancer and lung cancer stuff, the gap's a lot bigger. But breast cancer, the gaps are kind of small. So the treatments that patients are taking with hormonal or chemotherapy to prevent recurrences, in terms of absolute number of people, it's huge. But it's not the difference between a 95% recurrence rate and an 8% recurrence rate. It's the 95% recurrence rate and a 65% recurrence rate. So, as Ray says, they have to buy in at the outset to the fact that you're going to have to be followed for, and there are possible complications of your treatment. Okay, take it back.
Yeah, so, I mean, let me just use the analogy. Bill said the main thing that kills Americans is heart disease. So if I have a man in my office and he's hitting 45 or 50 and he's starting to worry about his heart, maybe he has a little twinge here and there, and he's like, what is this? So I'll go through his history and we'll do his exam, get a baseline on him. But part of the history is how long did your parents live? Well, my dad died at 65 of heart disease. I'm like, well, your dad didn't live as long as the average dad, and he died of the thing you're worried about. So that raises the level of surveillance. What I always felt failed in our training back 30 years ago was they said, well, you do a stress test every so many years, and then they're all okay. That's not okay with me. What I tell them is, I need you to get to a certain level of fitness. I need you to know what that level of fitness is, and when you can no longer hold that level of fitness, you need to come see me promptly. Okay? So if you can walk up this hill outside your house 4 or 5 times a week and not get out of breath, that's your fitness level. But next year, you're huffing and puffing to get up that hill. I don't want you to wait until you're having the crushing chest pain to come see me 5 years from now because your stress test 5 years ago was fine. I want you to come in now. And it's things like that. So Bill will identify, hey, this kind of therapy can affect your heart down the road. We've got a baseline here. Here's the things to look for. You used to talk to your primary care doctor. But when things change in you, you initiate that care. And so more and more in all fields, in all areas, all systems of the body, we are trying to identify those things patients can watch for. And it's not just a heart rate monitor and a pulse monitor. There are other things that we can do. But if you're going to be an excellent patient, then figuring out, ask your doctor, what's likely to take me out? Tell me the top 4 or 5 things. And then what things do I surveil, do I pay attention to that would tell me I'm getting into trouble with those 4 or 5 areas. Now, that's not number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, because all those things can happen, including getting run over outside here at the traffic
I was
light.
going to say something about the fast cars he drives, but no. Okay, now I gotta take away from him a minute. When I first moved to Blue Ridge, I ran 8 miles 5 days a week from my house out Snake Nation Road, and it took me 56 minutes. When I got my knee surgeries, and before I was unable to run anymore, it used to take me 80 minutes. So I went from 6.5 to 7 minutes a mile to 8 to 10 minutes a mile in 20 years. Now that wasn't what he's talking about, having diminished function. We're talking about that over decades. So now when I'm out there trying to do the miles, if I can get to 14 minutes a mile, I feel pretty lucky at 81 years old.
Well, no, that's interesting you say that.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
right.
brought it up, because that's a very important point. I mean, there's no humor in this. I tell my guys, look, I think there's a part of our brains where we're always 20 years old. And so you jump on that bicycle and you think you can ride 5 miles at 20 miles an hour because you did it when you were 20. That ain't happening when you're 70. Okay? But your brain will tell you that. So I'm not talking about the slow, gradual stuff. I'm talking about, hey, in the last few months, I'm really struggling here.
There you go.
So.
Last few months or last year.
Well,
okay,
I will use my dad. My dad would always say, let's see, what would he say about me? I'll leave some things he'd say about me out. What
How
my
about
dad,
the TV
no,
set?
no, but what my dad would always say about me, he'd say, that Brian, when he goes to do something, he goes like fighting fire. He goes like fighting fire all the time. So I enjoyed that as one of the great memories. So, but I do that no matter at my age, no matter what I go to do. It's like Dad said, I go at it like fighting fire, and then I'm reminded very quickly.
Your body tells you.
Yeah, something says really quickly, you need to
Why is that?
back down the fighting fire.
All right. Okay. So now we got into surveillance for cancer and early diagnosis, and Ray forgot to say that those things that take you out include getting the PSA and the colonoscopy and everything like that. But we were trying.
You do need to know. I'm going to say it in front of all of them out there. I've done all that.
Yeah, I know, because
Okay.
your primary care physician.
Well, I really can't sit
Can't
here.
say much.
I don't get much of a chance.
He's bad out of luck. Okay, look, I've got to do this because I get. You don't know how many phone calls I get a week, or stop me in the Ingalls and say, Dr. Whaley, I got one of the hospice directors from down in Jasper sent me a note this week. I think she knew it was my birthday. Says, I watch this program every week with my staff. So they have a Friday morning staff meeting down in Jasper, and they stop and watch this program. It's a 1 day a week meeting, and they watch the whole thing. And so this is for you. Okay, this is today's numbers right here. These are national numbers. About COVID cases, and I want to get into vaccines in just a minute. But what does that say right there? 36% down.
Mm-hmm.
There have been 27 million cases in the United States, right?
As of February 10th.
200, what's that? 27.3 million cases,
Right.
and we had 473,000 deaths. That's this week. Now, but the case rate's down 36% this week. The death rate's down 22% this week. Hospitalization rate's down 27% this week. Same thing's true in Georgia. So right now, 473,000 Americans have died. Back when we started, you remember they were saying it's going to be 1.5 to 2 million. Dr. Whaley said it's going to be 150,000 to 300,000. So I'm wrong already by at least 50%, and it ain't over yet. So the fact that they're all going down doesn't mean this business is over yet. So Georgia's rate, we've had 13,000 deaths in Georgia. That's a lot of deaths. We've had 57 deaths in Fannin County. Remember when we were saying we've had 19 cases? And it was at 19 cases for weeks and weeks, and then it was 23 cases. There are almost 2,000 cases in Fannin County now. But what's encouraging is this week's positivity rate on the PCR testing in Georgia is 10.4%. Mm-hmm. It was 17% 4 weeks ago, remember?
Right.
4 weeks ago, then it was 15.
And we
then
went
it was
that under 10.
14. Even in New York State, if it goes down to under 10, you're going to be able to go to school. So the point is that's going in the right direction. Now, right in the middle of that, you've got the issue of getting the vaccine to the people who need the vaccine. We need to be opened up. There's no doubt about the fact we need to be opened up. The CDC came out this week and says if it is 2 weeks after you've had your second dose, and I've had my second dose, and I think he's had his second dose, I've had mine 5 weeks ago, you don't have to quarantine. If you get contacted with anybody, you can be much more free. You can travel and so forth. Now, other countries haven't made that. But point is, if you've got those 2 shots, and it's 2 weeks after the second shot, you can do a lot of things. Now, the question then comes out about, do we have enough vaccine? And what did you call President Baba or whatever it was on there yesterday, and he said, oh, it was a disaster when we took over. We got another couple 100,000 doses coming in. Trump had contracted enough vaccine for 200 million people to get 2 doses by the end of April, and there are 260 million adults in the United States. Okay, so that would mean that probably 80% of the adults in the United States would have enough vaccine to get treated by June, by late spring. The issue is people aren't taking it. So right now it's hard to get the vaccine. I'm going to predict for you that within 2 weeks they're going to have more vaccine available, maybe 4 weeks, and not enough people taking it. If you got 260 million people, in Georgia we got 1.6 million over age 65, of which we've now immunized some 300,000 or 400,000. So if the people aren't going to go take the vaccine, then you're going to have more vaccine than you got people standing in line for it within just a few months. And as soon as that happens, they're going to open it up to everybody, not just, the 50-year-old guy with hypertension and diabetes who's not yet 65. And it'll be available probably for all adults in this country by April, over age 20.
You've hit on the problem, though, Bill.
Right, but what's the
it's not tested in children.
Yeah, they haven't tested. Let's just say 20.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so the point I'm making is we have enough vaccine that can come just from our 2 vaccine producers we have that are now licensed in the United States. We got 3 or 4 more vaccines that are in clinical trial that we don't have to worry about. But the one thing that is everybody has been scared to death about is all these new spike proteins and these mutations. Yes, they are more infectious, and yes, the South African one is not only more infectious but probably more fatal. But if you have had 1 shot, better even 2, were you to catch that South African virus, you'd never end up in the hospital. You would then end up back like you would have had before, and you're going to feel like crap for a few days. But the vaccine as we have it today, at least to our knowledge as of the middle of the month of February, is that this vaccine does give you sufficient immunity against the worst of the new ones, the London one and the South African one, that if you get it and become ill, you become ill like you've got the flu. You do not end up in the hospital. You do not end up in intensive care. So you can't say that the vaccine is, quote, not effective against the new strains. It is effective by diminishing the intensity of the virus, of the illness. And remember, if it's only 95% effective anyway, like I said last week, 1 out of every 20 people is going to get the regular COVID, and they're going to be a little bit sick, but they're not going to end up in intensive care, and 0% have died. None have died that got the COVID after two injections. And lastly, we might find out with research that's going on now by sometime, I would say between June and probably September, if it's going to be necessary to come up with a booster like we used to have with flu shots, so that every year you may end up getting a booster to the COVID. Yesterday was the first day since it began that there was not a SARS death in the United States. SARS. Remember, that's 15 years ago. So that thing's been hanging around down here, a couple of deaths a day, but yesterday there was not a death. So this is not going to go away at the end of next year.
So when we think, when does this end? No, it's not going right away. All right, so he gave a lot to unpack there.
Well, let me unpack a couple of things. Number one, I think any politician in the last election cycle that came out and poo-pooed or threw cold water on the vaccine or said, it's somebody else's vaccine, I can't trust it, need to be apologizing and need to be, throwing themselves on the floor and saying, that was a really dumb thing for me to say. It may have been a political thing to say, but it's stupid and dumb, and there may be consequences for people out there, particularly the minority groups who are not getting vaccinated. The highest risk minority groups.
The pharmaceuticals were never manufacturing, they were never studying, testing, and manufacturing a vaccine for a president. They were doing it for
the disease.
The disease.
Should have been always a disease.
But some politicized it and said, I'm not going to take the vaccine that somebody else.
Yeah, I don't often say shame on
somebody. You know what I'm saying, because that's what you're saying.
This is shameful behavior.
Yes.
Okay, and there are consequences to it. Number two, I look at the math and the graphing and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things that I think may be interesting once we go back and look at this thing is that had we had a vaccine for COVID like we had for the flu, this would have been a flu. Okay? If we'd been able to vaccine, which it'd be magical thinking because we didn't have the vaccine, but had you been able to suppress the virus like we do the flu every year, then this would have been a normal flu season, and we would have never thought of shutting the country down and economically destroying ourselves over this thing. So the vaccine is incredibly important, and it's important that we get the people who are willing to take it, this is their own choice, to take it and to be reassured about it. Bill emphasized it every week. It's something we should stay after. I have lots of patients who, are still real troubled over it.
I've got patients that are over 65 that have comorbid conditions
They won't take it.
that are into this anti-vaccine
But we also
stuff.
have politicians, and we have, unfortunately, medical bureaucrats talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah.
And so, the thing I'm telling my patients, hey, look, when you get the vaccine, well, I'd like you to be free to go right now. You're free to go. Okay, you don't have to worry and confine yourself. Okay, you don't have to be wearing the mask. You really are protected now.
All right, you finally got where I wanted to be. You finally went right there. So you go and get the vaccine, and you take both doses. What use would it be to wear the mask?
Well, I mean, not only that. Think about this double message. I'm going to get all over this, Bill. If you're telling people, hey, take this vaccine, maybe some risk, I know you're hearing all these kind of things, and after you take it, you still got to wear a mask and you still got to run hide, why would I go get the vaccine? Okay? So if they're not going to come out and be confident about their product, people are not going to get the product. It's part of it's a sales job. So they need to stop it. They need to stop saying run hide. That never was a good solution.
No.
It's not part of a medical response to anything to tell people to be afraid. Stop telling people to be afraid. We talked last week about the hammer and everything's a nail. I'm sorry, CDC epidemiologists, folks. Put your hammer away. Okay, we need to go on with life now. We've got a nice product here. Let's get it in people.
Let me tell you why you're going to wear the mask. You're going to wear the mask, one, because the bureaucrat won't let you fly on the airplane without it, ride the bus without
Well,
it.
you're getting good answer. No.
That's number one.
Because politically,
Okay,
it was
all right.
said
You'll
we
have
may
to
be
follow the
told to
rules.
wear the mask for a year.
And second, when you walk into Walmart, the people there don't know you have had both vaccines
You don't know
unless you
who's
got
had it,
unless
who's
you
not
got a
had
thing on your head. So
Okay.
I believe that, first of all, I don't believe in shutting the country down at all anyway. And I do believe that staying and hiding is right for the fine china until they've been vaccinated. But the idea that we're shut off, my kids can't go to public school in DeKalb County, really makes me mad when one of those kids is in the Catholic school and he's wrestling and playing football and going to class every day, and at the very next county over, they're opening up. And they're opening Fannin County. So this makes no sense. On a state-by-state basis or a county-by-county basis or whatever it is, dadgummit, open up and send the kids to school and let people go to the restaurant and sit 6 feet apart.
I want to say something.
I'm going to jump on you here.
Who?
Wrestling.
Oh, that
You
was
know how
mine. You're
absurd-
taking
Well,
it.
I'm
Go ahead.
gonna-
Now go with it. You
well,
got
we
it.
had we are very proud in this county. We had a freshman go to the state meet and win. Now that's an awesome wrestling event.
Yes.
Let me tell you how absurd these stupid rules are. In wrestling, you can wrestle somebody,
Can't shake
but
hands.
because of COVID, you can't shake hands.
Can't
after the
shake
match
hands.
is over.
Get a little sweaty,
Now-
grab each other, roll them over.
What thinking person can get their head around that? Okay.
Okay.
Number two, we talked about cancer and screening for cancer. The screening rate for colon cancer is down 86% from what it should be. 86% have not gotten their colon cancer screening in the last year like they should have. There are major consequences to this stupidity. I'm sorry. I'm just going to.
Well, let's go to another level, and we got to get out. But I want to go to another level because what you just
Because
said.
I got patience, so to
yeah, you
start
got to
now.
get to work. It might be your birthday, but you ain't getting a day off. You just hit exactly where I'm going because there's so many things. Okay, the young man that's a freshman and won a state title. I mean, they've got that forever now.
Yeah.
And so much of that was taken away
That kid
from
needs
these
to be
kids.
doing that so the college
so
coaches
much.
can
Think-
see him.
think
that
about
he may end
the-
up at Notre Dame if they let him keep
Think
wrestling.
about the local baseball team that didn't play last year. That the kid doesn't have the wins and losses. Now, last night I don't want to get I don't want to get what they call it mask shamed or whatever. But last night we broadcast a basketball tournament of 10-year-old kids. Our company, I will guarantee you, we had I was to say 200 people there, and the kids were playing. And I was looking at the court, and socially, what those kids needed was so great.
They were getting it.
Yes, they were getting it. It was so great, and the moms and dads were there, and the families were there. Just that side of health in itself. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well,
last
there's the
night.
emotional
Yeah, and some
maturity.
kid had to do something stupid and make a foul.
Well,
in
when
the
they
wrong
got
place.
done, there was a championship trophy presentation,
Right.
and the kids were there, and the moms
But
and dads were
somebody
taking
had to
pictures.
fail. Somebody lost.
But I was looking
That's
and
what
I
they
was
have to
thinking to
do.
myself, that's being taken away from kids all across this country. I got a question. This one, I don't know how this is going to land, but it's come to me a couple times, so I'm going to ask it. Where's the flu?
Yeah. It's here. We've had 36 million.
Okay,
deaths.
I don't know. I mean, because
We've had-
somebody asked me the other day,
It's
where
there.
is the flu?
It's there every week. Every week you can go on the CDC website.
All right.
It's here. It's here. It's here. Yep.
I believe you. I'm just saying it just doesn't seem like
It's down year over year, but it's still around.
Website.
right. Well, I didn't mean it like where is it, but we don't hear about it.
I know we're wrapping up while Bill looks that up, but
There it is. There's your There's your flu number right there.
Okay.
Same
I mean, I
before.
didn't say it was gone.
It's not gone.
it's here, but it's mild. Wrap up statement from me. I know you're
Yeah,
about
go
to
ahead.
ask us
Wrap
these
up
things.
statement.
Life is full of hazards. part of life. Okay. So this whole notion that, oh, you got to hide and you can't have hazards in your life and the sky's falling and if I do anything, I brought it on myself. It's FOS. Okay, we need to let our kids grow up and see how to handle risk. We've talked about it in this program. Identify your risk, deal with your risk. Okay, but don't be telling people by your actions and your policies that you can have no risk in life, and if you just listen to me, everything will be all right. That is horseshit.
CDC said we need 2 masks.
Yeah, crazy. Well, why don't we have 3, 4, 5? Why don't we just stop?
Well, I'm just, hey, whoa. I don't work for the CDC. Thank you, Dr.
All right.
Dr. Whaley.
I'm going to do the same thing. Get your blinking vaccine, donate blood, and go see your PCP. And please go see your PCP and let him take a history and do the daggum test that you need to get done. They'll do a colonoscopy. They're all back to doing them now. So they're opened up the colonoscopies. You just got to go to get it.
Hey, we want to thank
Georgia Cancer Specialist, Northside Hospital, Comprehensive Care. Go ahead, I'll let you.
No, that was pretty good.
No,
North Georgia Cancer Specialist. There they are. Georgia Cancer Specialist affiliated with Northside Hospital. We appreciate you very much. We appreciate these great questions. If you have questions for Dr. Whaley, you can send those to info@veterannews.com. Find us on social media. Also, go to fyntv.com. Just click on Ask the Doc. All the segments are there. You can share them with your family and friends every Friday morning here.
All right, and I want to say, Ray is a rocket scientist.
Yeah, so
he was a rocket scientist before he was a PCP. And I appreciate him coming in here with me every week and trying to they tell me he simplifies the complicated things I say where people can understand them.
What'd you say the other day? You build the watch. He
No,
tells us what
you ask
time it is?
You ask me what time it is, and I tell you how to build a watch.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
there
crazy.
you go. So, thank you, Dr. Tidman, Dr. William Whaley. And every Friday morning, we enjoy this segment so much. Again, you could find those, again, on FYN TV, Ask the Doc. On the other side of this brief commercial break, we've got 3 over here, and it's time for our all-star political panel. So, take us to break.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
New year, new Chevy. Let's get it done at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with huge savings on the Chevy trucks you want, like $8,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save over $7,500 off a new Chevy Equinox. Every Chevy truck and SUV discounted big. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and let's get it done.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
It's been 4 generations of family ownership, tens of thousands of customers, and more Chevys than we'd ever be able to count. And more than 60 years later, when we say Days gets it done, we still mean it. With the North Georgia Mountain's lowest Chevy prices, a huge selection, and outstanding customer care. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and let's get it done.
Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done.
North Georgia is truck country, and nobody discounts Chevy trucks like Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save $8,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save $5,700 on the all-new body style Equinox. Every Chevy truck and SUV discounted big. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, the low price leader in truck country.
Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Hey, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, Georgia. You know, it's raining a little bit. It's time for the All-Star Political Panel. We have Bruce, Rick, Joeen, myself. Now, let me just say something before we start. So, Joeen's not new, but a little bit, all right? She wants to know what's the theme this morning. What's the theme? I'm like, what the heck? What's the theme? So let me give you the theme. You asked me, right? What's the theme, right?
And we
All right,
are
so-
interested in the theme too. I mean,
Okay.
don't
Wait
leave
a
us
minute.
out.
Wait a minute.
Besides,
So-
I have my own theme.
Do you want to hear the theme or
Yes,
not?
yes.
Okay. So Joeen asked me, what's the theme this morning? So I'm thinking to myself, you want a theme? Okay. First subject of the day. That's the way we'll do it, okay?
Okay.
Ready? Drunk Brady. What say you?
I think it was a put on.
I loved it. I love Drunk Brady. There's the theme. It's just saying.
I
we're
think
gonna
he
talk
was.
about
Yeah,
drinking.
I think he
No.
was. I think he was pumping it up some.
Oh my God!
He had a few drinks. I mean, but
And both of you, what do you? Both of you think the Super Bowl was a fix, right?
oh yeah,
I heard you were. Yeah, look at. Oh yeah, right. You. Oh yeah.
you're a sports guy, didn't you see it? It stunk.
Oh man, you should have seen the blistering email I got from one of our fans down in the Tampa area.
What did they say?
She said,
What did she?
What,
oh,
are, you,
what's
what are you doing talking about Tampa like that?
I did not. Hey, maintain fan right here. I did not talk about.
She
So-
said they were just so they outplayed them and the calls and everything was just perfect except for one thing. The mayor's now doing a facial recognition to try
Well,
to impose.
supposedly, what I love about it, and we will get to the bigger and better things. What I love about the Drunk Brady video and the boat where they're throwing the Super Bowl trophy. What I love about it,
like a loaf of bread.
It's South Florida maskless drunk guys, and people are going nuts.
And
over
some
it.
women, and some women.
And some women. And some women. People are going nuts over it. That broke all the rules in the city, right?
I think they had higher ratings on like the boat scene in the parade than they did on the game, though.
14-year low.
Is it 14-year low?
Yeah.
You know what? I and we will get to some big things, but I'm tired of the commercials. And when I say that, because one thing on social media, if you follow social media while the game's going on, is everybody gets into chatter about reminiscing. Where is this old commercial? Where's that old commercial? I miss this and that. And what happens to these companies are they do a commercial and they send it through 2 or 3 different groups to cleanse it. Did it offend gender? Was it gender neutral? Did it offend? Who might it offend?
Yeah, pressure.
Then it's sent for 3 or 4 groups to where it's so milquetoast. There's no humor in it, if or whatever. You don't remember it for years. The famous commercials. I mean,
Louis the Lizard. That was.
But you know what
was
I'm
great.
saying, and I hear that. So anyhow, on the Super Bowl, we get to that. I will. Let's change. If anybody have anything else to add, because we can move on.
We talked about drunk Brady. Why don't we talk about drunk Bruce Springsteen? Was he driving that Jeep drunk in the ad?
Bunch
what do you
of drunks.
think?
But Alec Baldwin has come out and said, I think there's politics involved with
No,
Springsteen. Stop.
Hell, you say.
I'm telling you.
Politics. Well, I'm not a. I was. I'm not a Springsteen fan anymore. I mean,
nope.
Never have been. I don't understand why anyone likes his music. I just think it's crap. But
She just sent me a Go Bucks.
I agree.
This is my Florida fan.
Please, out there, do not interrupt Rick during the show. Asking nicely.
yeah,
Don't sidetrack
his
him.
head starts getting.
If
like
anybody
this.
gets sidetracked, that belongs to me. All right,
Got an
so
exclusive on
I
sidetrack.
got an exclusive on getting sidetracked.
There you go.
My
Okay.
exclusive is I'm going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
That's me telling
Yeah.
myself get back in line. All right, so we're off the Super Bowl talk. Where do you want to go? What subject? What subject, Joey? That's what I want to do this morning. I mean, we have impeachment. We have so many things out there.
we
State
don't have any
level.
impeachment. Impeachment's like a.
Have you watched
Zero.
any of the impeachment?
Okay. All right.
Have you watched?
But yeah, we're taking away from Joey.
Yeah. What subject?
My whole theme this show, whatever I get asked, I'm going to drag it back to the people out there need to get involved. And by that I mean, you hear this all the time, but our next election, 2022, we need to be starting now with what we need to worry about. You need to look at the laws that the federal government's passing, that your state and local governments are passing, and it's sort of like exercise. Nobody wants to really do an exercise. Very few people stick to an exercise routine. You know, every day I'm going to get up at 7 and I'm going to do something. But you need to pick an hour a day, an hour a week, or something to get involved and go to your state legislature while it's in session, or go to a Board of Commissioners meeting in any state that you're in and find out and read. You need to read the laws that they're writing. And I have an example if you want me to go into it.
Not right this minute.
Okay.
Were you going to give me the sign ordinance?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right, well then go ahead.
I was going to do one that's right before our legislature in the state of
Go ahead.
Georgia.
I thought you were going to give me the sign ordinance. I'm
No.
sorry, you know. She gives me 4 or 5 different examples a week, so I'm just saying.
Okay, well, that was a really good example, but we have a new one right now.
better
and that's
one.
House Bill 309. House Bill 309 is called the Red Flag Bill. And the way it is written, and I'm only going to cite 2 little sentences because I really want people to read it, but the reason you need to read it is, and always read the definitions. They start out with defining the terms they're going to use. And you need to read the definition, because that's where they get you. Because later on, when they say a family member or a household member, you know, you just think that's, you know, your wife or your child or your mother-in-law that lives there. But they define in this bill, and I'm sorry, the Georgia Red Flag Protective Order Act is to give the police and the family and household members more power to take away the guns and ammunition from anyone they consider dangerous or that might inflict harm on someone or themselves. And it is so broadly written, and the main thing is, I'm going to read the definition of family or household member. It means spouses, former spouses, persons related by blood or marriage, persons who are presently residing together or who have resided together in the past. Resided together in the past. So anyone you've ever lived with, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, your roommates in college, can issue one of these orders, okay? And persons who are parents of a child in common, regardless of whether they've been married, okay? Now these people can become petitioners. So if they think there's any reason that you might cause harm, and it could be just because they're still angry with you about something,
Breaking up. Breaking up.
Oh,
as a
breaking
girlfriend,
up,
yeah.
right. So, you know, I still haven't gotten over being, you know, the woman scorned. Watch out for that woman scorned.
Yeah.
So Bruce and I were college roommates.
Oh.
HB, and this is Georgia HB 309.
If he gets mad at me, he can call the cops and say, you know, he might inflict damage on somebody because I saw that behavior down at Southern Illinois University.
Well, no,
Exactly.
serious.
Or I
This is
saw him
serious.
buy-
This is
Yeah.
really serious.
Yes, I saw him buy a gun and ammunition because you happened to have been with him when he went to some gun show.
Oh, geez.
And that-
We're in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
All you have to do is witness them purchasing or possessing or receiving a firearm or any ammunition.
Did they write those that way because they know they're going to get watered down?
Well, I don't know the answer to that. However, I have written to Steve Gooch or to our representative, who's David Ralston, and said, did you read page 48? And it's got a paragraph in there that there's no way, and it's been in there through 19 revisions, and no one's taken it out. And so when you send it just that paragraph, at least when I've written to Steve Gooch, he says, wow, he said, well, I never saw that. Okay? And it's because by the time you get to page 48,
Yeah, your eyes have glazed
and,
over.
and the only reason, if you had to have gone back and read the definition on page 1, because it's just, it seems innocuous, but when you read the definition, it was a killer.
All right,
And
let me say this. Let me say this, because I mean I know where you're going with this particular bill. You started out by getting involved, and what I do on the show weekly is I try to at least 2 days a week uncover something or highlight what I call is under the veil. They run the impeachment, they run all of the daytime soap operas that I call, and what's really going on that we're not looking at. So I want to take what you're saying very seriously and look at the audience and say, what's she saying out there? And our new friends out in Wyoming, from Illinois, Tampa, wherever you're at, is every one of your state houses are going into session. Every one of your state houses has pieces of legislation somewhat like this. And what tends to happen in America is we find out after the fact, when it affects us, and we say, why is it like that? Or why did that? Well, you know, a couple years ago when we tried to get you involved. So this is happening everywhere. And gun legislation right now. Now, you're on the state level.
Okay, but, excuse me
What's
for
the bill?
interrupting.
No, but what's the bill up there in D.C.?
They have the same kind of a red flag?
Yes.
Okay, and where I was going to say is this was introduced by 6 Democrats, okay? And I would not be at all surprised to find out that someone in Washington is sending the Democrats in every state
Exactly.
That's how it works.
copies of
Yeah.
bills like
That's exactly
this,
how it works.
okay, to introduce into their state legislature. That's how they're going to get control of us, because the federal government doesn't have rights to do everything. The states have rights, so they've got to get the states to drill down on us also. And so they're sending draft bills that they then, you know, might change a little bit, but I bet you there's a bill like this in almost every state house right now.
There is gun legislation now in D.C., and when we say take away your guns, yes, there's legislation now. You have to register all of your firearms, so on and so forth, and
pay a tax
and
each
pay
year,
a tax
every
each year. Absolutely. So, but if you don't get involved and go look on the state level, right down to your counties, cities, and state, and this is, you know, I hear I want to move on, and what I mean by that is I want to get some of the other issues of the day, but you know. If you're out there and you say we got to take our country back, we got to take it back at the level of the Board of Education, at the Board of Commissioners or freeholders, whatever it is in your state, state representatives, all the way up the line.
So the first group you mentioned was county. Yeah, at the county level.
We've got to.
And build up from there.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to. We have to do that. What say you pick a topic there, Rick? Thank you very much. And we're going to. I want to say this. We're going to circle back to that. Okay?
Yeah, circle back to this.
Yes. Right, you're just.
Yeah, exactly. Topic. I didn't watch any of the impeachment. That group of buffoons that the Democrats have. I mean, you look at that cast of characters, Ted Lieu and Swalwell and all of the. Anyway,
their new hero, Jamie
I think we all acknowledge that the sole purpose is to keep Trump from running ever again. If that's a universal thought among us, do you think when 67 senators don't vote to convict that there will be a push to impose the 14th Amendment, which is the Insurrection Act, which will again bar him if convicted of that?
They're talking like that.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
do you think that they've got, you know, something else up their sleeve to accomplish that?
Well, I think they might be talking about it, but the man still has not been charged and convicted of insurrection. So, how are they going to use someone who's not charged with insurrection under the 14th Amendment?
Well, once this goes away, then they're going to go to the next option.
Which is what?
Wait a minute. They're not. I said on the show this past week, they're not done. You know, when I say we,
know that?
when we say
that was my point.
Yeah, when we say like, what could they do next? Are they done? They're not done. They're not finished.
Jim Kane's been pushing that 14th Amendment thing.
Yeah.
The Democrat from Virginia, wasn't he the loser VP.
Yes.
The only
He's got
thing,
an
the
extra
only
grand.
thing, and let me say this: don't get shocked and taken back and go, "Wow." The only thing that if they don't get the 17 Republicans they need,
They won't.
but if they don't get them, and he's acquitted, the only thing that will stop them is Donald Trump actually dies, because either Donald Trump dies or they keep going until they stop him. Because obviously, if the man is dead, he can't run again. If he's dead, he can't. No, I'm not joking. If he's dead, I mean, that's what I'm looking. These people, they have two options to totally annihilate this person. Now, the thing is, as Donald Trump would say quite often, it's not me they're really going after. It's you out there. And they're not just trying to stop Donald Trump, but saying that, to answer your question, yes, they go for what's next. Okay, they go for what's next. And what's next also is criminal investigations. Even Liz Cheney said to Chris Wallace last week, Liz Cheney said, well, there are really in-depth investigations, there'll be criminal investigations.
There's one in place in Georgia.
Right.
The DA in Georgia is already looking at that.
So my answer is no, they're not done. They're not finished.
So, I mean, you'll take the word impeachment off the table. You'll maybe put the word insurrection on the table.
He's guilty of
then
insurrection against the U.S., and that bars anybody from holding public office again.
Yeah,
Yes.
but or they're going to drag out the Brad Raffensperger phone call and try to do something with that criminally. There's stuff going on.
They're already trying to do that.
They have the business dealings in New York. They got that very aggressive AG there. So
His sole intent is to destroy the Trump legacy, the Trump family, the Trump name. They're trying to make him so irrelevant that it'll just, people will be just tired of hearing.
Well, what did one of the impeachment managers say yesterday? Not to quote him, he said, my fear is not that Trump would run and win again. It's that Trump would run and lose again. Like this would happen all over, and this could be 10 times worse the second time.
Well, they were using fear-mongering, too, by saying, are you the one that's going to sit there and let this happen, or are you going to vote to impeach?
I did not watch, for the most part, any of it. I have went and taken clips, but I mean, I've not just sit and watched. I've just not sit back and watch hours. I got things to do. So
I'm surprised.
Well, at 4 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock at night or whatever, or early in the afternoon, I'll get 10 minutes here and there and pull some clips together of what I want to hear and look at. And they've run video over and over, the 911 calls over and over, the video of... and I have to say this. I don't know how really to box this, and I don't know how to make this sound. I don't know how this sounds, but... I mean, I can watch video of Romney running all day from somebody. I don't know. Is that bad? Was that wrong? Or so when they're telling me they were hunting Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and
AOC,
right? Is that wrong? I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe,
where is she?
Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
But
so go ahead, Joey.
But in this thing already, I mean, they have doctored the tapes. They've taken clips out without the whole sentence, because they keep playing the part where Trump told the people to march on the Capitol, okay?
Yeah, without
the peacefully and patriotically.
Yeah.
And he specifically said to go to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically. And that's not inciting a riot or whatever.
Well, but patriot, the word patriot has now become a dog whistle for white supremacist racists.
Yes, I understand.
So,
that's another word that's now a hate word.
Yeah.
But one of the other things I want to say is what bothers me is right at the beginning, and this goes to all the people that have incited physical harm on other people, like Maxine Waters and all of the others. None of that ever gets.
It's just
like it didn't happen.
Bristen did a whole show on hypocrisy, and the montages that we've all seen
are unbelievable.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning of the impeachment trial, or maybe it was an hour into it, one of the Democrat managers actually said I guess that's the Republicans, want to not have a trial without hearing any of the evidence. I mean, why doesn't that argument apply to all the lawsuits filed all over the country about voter fraud that were dismissed without hearing any of the evidence? I mean, I was always taught what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and I don't understand.
First of all, I've got to, hold on, folks. We got to take a brief. Just don't go, take time. Please do not come on the show anymore and discuss evidence and stuff like that. We don't do that anymore. Evidence, it's irrelevant anymore.
So I can't. That still goes with Dominion
In case you
voting
can't hear,
machines.
he's saying evidence is irrelevant.
Are we clear?
Okay.
For those of you in
I'm
real
like you
Linda.
100%, Joanne. I mean, oh no, the evidence without evidence.
Well, I mean, the Democrats do this all the time. You know, they use words to their advantage, and when they're not to their advantage, they change the meaning, or you know, they use something else.
But then they take the evidence and only play part of it. You know, people's sentences if you only play part of it.
And we know it's being stage managed. And this gets back to what we were talking about before the show. You know, Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. I mean, they twist everything out there to their advantage or to their opponent's disadvantage.
This is not something that's new, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been taking sound bites. People have been taking sound bites to their advantage forever.
Okay, but wait a minute. So.
What you got to do is you got to call them out on it.
But we got to. When I say be clear on this, to them, if you listen to it, this is not just about January 6th. January 6th is where Trump, to them, yelled charge. But this is the big lie. And the lie, what they're trying to totally squash is on many levels, is anything about the election. They never want you again to ask a question concerning elections. That needs to be totally over. And the Trump lie, and they said it over and over about the stealing the election. And I guess my button stolen is against the law now. I guess I can't wear that anymore. But
Trigger.
What I'm saying is, if you go and you look at every single, we cannot say absolutely, it's all the way up to impeachment that the election that the election was stolen was a lie. Now I am, and I'll turn it back over to you guys. I am disappointed. I'll use the word disappointed because I could say other things, and I don't want to get led down that road. Brad Raffensperger's a despicable man. The Secretary of State of Georgia. He's a despicable man. And the day they recorded that phone conversation with the President of the United States, and that is actually in this article of impeachment. It's absolutely disgusting that Georgia just can't get out of anything with this, and it's just absolutely disgusting. But like you said, evidence. We can't discuss anything, but when they're done, we're to never speak of it again. It's over.
But do you realize how with sound clips and sound bites, you said a minute ago Trump yelled charge.
That's what
okay. So they can now have a clip where you said Trump yelled charge.
Okay. I agree with you.
Because you said before you said didn't, you know.
Right.
Okay. That's how they do it, and I really would like to tie this into the Saul Alinsky thing and the getting involved, but I don't know where you all want to go on something else, because that's I got to thinking this morning, and which is dangerous, especially if it's really
so
early.
did AOC. So
Right.
Keith let you do that, huh?
Yeah.
Right. But one of the things, because you brought up, you did several shows on the Saul Alinsky rules for radicals, but it's a primer for realistic radicals, and I realize that's like an oxymoron or whatever, but when they explain things realistically, that's why people believe them, all right? They're still radical things, but they explain them realistically. And
such as?
Okay, well, starting back in the 70s, because I think that book was written in 71, I mean, they decided that they can't just introduce communism in the United States. They can't get a communist elected to Congress or whatever. Communism's illegal. But that's where I was going on that comment you made about about Nikita Khrushchev, because they realized that they could introduce socialism and could kind of slide that in.
That's a softer word.
Yes, okay, which is just one step away from, communism. But so what they did was, as we all know, they took over our teachers, they took over our universities, and so many of the young people, when they'd come home on break, we thought, where did they get these radical ideas and whatever, but we just figured that's the new fangled notions that they're teaching, and we didn't think that much about it. But they got our kids, and a lot of those people became teachers. And so, but they came out of college believing, and this has been going on for years, so anyone under 40 pretty much believes that our government's there to help, bigger government's better, guns are bad, we need to share and share alike, okay, capitalism is wrong, there should not be rich people and poor people, everybody should kind of be the same.
And corporations are polluting the world and making money at it.
Yes, okay, because one way we're destroying the planet, and we need to destroy big business because they're destroying the planet, okay? And birth control in the New World Order. I mean, how many people do you know that have 3 or 4 children? I mean, even farmers no longer believe, but you're old. Our day, people had big families, and farmers had 5 or 6 kids, to run the farm. Now they just hire migrants or illegals, but
or a tractor made in China.
Right. So they took over the teachers, and then to indoctrinate our children, then fill our local governments and our state governments with radicalized individuals, then take over the mainstream media. They need this to try and realistically explain everything that is happening to those that weren't educated under socialist teachings. Yeah. So by taking over the mainstream media, they can present candidates in the most and least favorable lights to sway elections. And that's what they've done if you think about it. I mean, they can disclose negative things about one candidate and not present negative about the other. I mean, they knew all about Biden's China connection. They knew about the Hunter laptop and all of the Hunter stuff and everything. Did they mention it one time? Until after the election, then they started.
That's where you have the media as an ally, because they think exactly like this.
Because then they can take over the Senate and the House and then the presidency. And so if you think our current government sees how the restrictions on Twitter, Facebook, etc., the trumped-up charges, how you like that, trumped-up charges for impeachment, okay, are similar to the period of history in our country that caused the Boston Tea Party, okay, where do you realize the King of England, the laws, those laws that were
the taxes.
Intolerable acts, okay,
the taxes,
okay. And the coercive acts that they became known as the intolerable acts, they forbid them to have more than one town hall meeting a year. That was so they couldn't organize, they couldn't communicate, all right? And that's the difference. And if you think that they tell you that Twitter and Facebook and Google and all of that are private companies, but they're all connected to the government. And so when they shut all of us down from communicating, that's no different than the King of England forbidding town halls. Everything.
And another thing, I mean, you're going back to the government, a lot of those people that have come out of that education system are working in the government. They're career people.
But they also
unionized too.
They think that it's good that the government, this new CARES Act or whatever they're calling it now, I mean, the younger people think that's
American Rescue Plan.
American Rescue Plan. They think that's awesome. I constantly say, if Obama hadn't been elected and didn't have such an ego and tried to do everything the first 3 or 4 months, the Tea Party would not have existed, and we would already be a socialist country.
We are a socialist country. Well, we are.
Okay, I don't disagree with
that. No,
that is the country's being run by the Obama regime.
Yeah, it's Obama 3.
Okay.
Right.
It's definitely Obama.
Right,
it's a rerun.
Okay, you've been making furious notes.
Well, let me show you something. Okay, so first of all, I don't. I'm not a pessimistic person. I live with hope. Okay, and
I thought you lived with
Lisa. When did Hope move in?
I have hope in tomorrow. I'll tell you what, these asses are going to get it, Jack. Oh, jackasses, not asses, Jack. Okay.
Burrows.
All right. Anyhow, Bubba. All right, but I'm going to get serious. Don't interrupt me here.
Okay.
Because this is I'm really serious. The reason is okay. So we're in Fannin County, Georgia. Now people are going to take me to task, but they just do that. So we'll take Fannin County, Georgia, Gilmer County, Georgia, or whatever. So let's start on your county level. If you add the city of McKaysville, everybody that works there, police department, whatever, add everybody that works there. Then you add everybody that works in the city of Blue Ridge, regardless, Department of Transportation, Blue Ridge, whatever. Add everybody there. Add everybody that works for Fannin County government, no matter where they're at, district attorney's office, the courts, whatever in the government. Add all them. Add everybody that works at the Board of Education. Add every teacher, bus driver, and everything. The largest employer, I asked not to interrupt me. Look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be like that, but serious, I'm serious.
Right.
You take all that and you wrap it together. The largest employer in your county is the government. Largest employee. You do not have a private business in your county that employs more people than your government. Now, let's move to the state, okay? State level. Governor Kemp came out and said, we're going to give 54,000, check me. We're going to give 54,000 state employees a $1,000 bonus check. Okay, $54 million in bonus. Now let's just say this. On the state level, 54,000 state employees. You name a private company in the state of Georgia that has combined, Bruce, more than 54,000. Maybe there is.
I thought there was a question.
It's not to you. Okay. I've asked nicely. You name somebody in the state of Georgia, a private company that has more than 54,000 employees just in this state. The state could possibly be the largest employer in this, there is. Right here in Georgia. I don't know, but just think of those numbers. Now go to the federal government. And you look at the Department of Transportation, the Department of Housing, the Department of Education, 350,000 employees here, 250. If you add up all the behemoths, you're way over 1 million. I mean, I'm just going to use 1 million. You name how many private sector companies that are private sector companies that have 1 million plus employees. Folks, we've gone from the counties to the states, to the federal government, being the largest employers in the United States. Now, you go home and simple math is, if you don't have enough private sector people paying the taxes, you sooner or later that seesaw is going to tilt the wrong way. And guess what? Making fun of me, somebody gets off the seesaw and you fall, and there's nobody to bring the thing back up. Sorry, I don't know where I was going.
We've talked several times.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and to that point, we've talked several times about.
Sorry, Bruce. Sorry, Joey. Well, your apologies for being mean. I am mean. I get mean sometimes. I'm sorry.
Government used to be a place where you would go to work because you agreed to take a little less money for the security that the government offered. It's topsy-turvy now.
But you understand what I'm saying, Joey? Do you understand what I just laid out right from your local county?
Yeah, but again, I think people used to serve in government because they wanted to do something for the people they live with. It was more altruistic than it is now.
Well, you really, I mean, I
but
grew
then
up
when
in
you
Washington,
say
D.C. and worked for the government. My mother worked for State Department. I worked for NASA. You took a job with the government, exactly like you said, for security. You didn't make as much money as you could in the private sector, but the benefits, the retirement plan, the hospitalization,
exactly. That's
everything.
where it used to be.
Okay, yes, that's
now the
it used to
unions
be.
are involved.
Right. And now,
it's worse.
They make more money, but they also
and you can't fire them.
Exactly.
You can't fire them.
And what I'm getting at is from the counties to your states to your federal government, we're about to the point where we've tipped. I think if you really were able to go out there and do the math, we've tipped the 50% point on what the largest employer in the United States is, and it's not the private sector. As far as I feel, it's not quite the private sector. Now, in saying that, in the last year, COVID is real. But these people, and I'm not knocking the people, but these people, they didn't miss paychecks. They didn't get laid off. They didn't get furloughed. They didn't close their restaurants. They didn't. You understand?
Not one of them.
And then when people look at me and say, we need to stop, they get this banner and they say, we need to stop socialism. Well, look, you can get mad at me all day long. I think you're a little too late. Am I wrong, Joey?
No. And
you of all people in the whole world, you can tell me I'm wrong. You can if you want. Not you two. She can.
I wouldn't say
wanted to
that,
check that
it's over 50% yet, but the problem is that they will always be able to pay their side, whether it's 50 or 60%, because they just raise the taxes on the other side. And look at the socialist countries. Look at Venezuela and Argentina. Look at Canada. The tax rate is more than 50%. Okay? So they're already getting more of your check than you are to provide the services, the socialized medicine. For the government to provide it, they got to take it from you. But then you have no choice.
Well, the other critical thing, Joe, is they have the ability to print money at will. Not just
Well, that's
tax,
true. Right.
but they have the ability to print money. And that's why we're broke.
But they're printing money to continue to keep this
That's
running,
my point.
not
Yeah.
the private
Not just
sector.
tax, though.
Not the private sector
Yeah.
to keep this running.
Right.
And at some point, they're going to figure out that not keeping the private sector going was the wrong choice.
They don't care. They
But
will
they're
take
not.
it over.
They're not passing the American Rescue Plan to keep. The lie is to keep the private sector running.
I
They're
understand.
passing it to keep this.
I understand, but
running.
the famous definition of socialism, it works okay until you run out of other people's money.
And that's where we're
Okay,
going.
But then they take over the businesses, just like in China and Russia and whatever. They own the auto companies. They own the factories. They own the electric.
Well, just like
utilities
you
and
said a
whatever. They
minute
own
ago.
everything.
And look how miserable they are.
Yeah, but just like you said a minute ago, you said this. Now you get the behemoth that we want to pass $1.9 trillion to rescue America. It's not rescuing America.
No.
It's to rescue the behemoth. Now let's go back into the private sector. Let's say out of 10 businesses, I don't have it with me, so people are going to take me to 10. Out of 10 businesses in the private sector, I'm going to say 5 out of 10 of them have to have some kind of government contract or government purchase to keep that private sector going.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
And more than likely.
So when you say other countries own the auto manufacturers, look, folks, we have just created a manipulation. We own the auto manufacturers because they have all those government contracts. Okay? Now they come out here and they put a dealership out here and it's nice and it's got shiny cars and everything, and we go look at the shiny car and we buy it every so many years and we buy the shiny car. But I have to tell you, the real table is turning with their contracts with the behemoths. Because everybody's in the Department of Transportation, one of these damn auto manufacturers just made a deal to give all those little government to manufacture 30,000 cars for every one of them little government people to ride. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're going to make
Am I
electric
wrong?
cars.
Electric vans.
And I got a question. All
Serenity Now. Where's the docks when I need them?
all these electric cars that by 2035 or whatever, this is the week of the Daytona 500. Wait till it's all electric cars out there. Yeah. Uh-huh.
If even that.
I mean, there will
Hey,
be
listen,
no
let me tell you something. I am tired of everybody knocking electric cars because I used to be able to take a little electric car, put it on a track, and we had a lot of fun with it. So leave it alone. That's the only electric car. All right, we
Keith
have
made a business out of that.
Yeah, we have a
Didn't he?
pooch in the house.
Slot car Keith.
Pooch in the house.
A pooch in the house. I got another subject, and I know. Hey, pooch, just stick right there
He
for a
did
minute.
the slot cars.
I
for
got
Elvis.
I got another subject.
Pooch is
Okay, when you talk about paying attention, did anybody pay attention? Rick, will you pay attention now? Would anybody pay attention?
Heat?
Rick, Shut the hell up. Everybody here, shut the hell up. Excuse me for my language. I don't know what just happened that cracked him. Listen, you're
Let me
going
just tell you what happened.
No, you don't tell us what happened. We don't want to know. I'm on a roll. Let you and I have a talk. Cut him out, okay?
Because I don't know.
It's another management meeting.
Yes, exactly. That's right. So anyhow, did anybody pay attention? I've asked everybody, when you talked this morning, get involved. I said it for months. It really scared the living hell out of me because I'm sitting there watching Bernie Sanders with a placard in front of him this week that said chairman. Chairman of what? All of our money.
Budget committee.
All of our money. Bernie Sanders was talking about the crisis in America. Did you hear that?
No, but
Oh my God! I played it on my show. He went over the equity and how we're going to, homes and equality and oh my God! But what was it? The hearing for the office and OMB, right?
Office of Management.
And who are we talking about, Rick? What's her name? Come on there, funny guy. Funny guy. Come on, funny guy. You got all the laughs.
I don't know who you. It escapes me.
Nina or Needy?
Oh yeah,
Near attendant.
Near attendant.
Yeah,
Near attendant for
Yes, me
500,
first.
Bruce, right?
yeah. She got teary-eyed.
Near attendant, right? America for Progress. What is it?
I don't know what group
The,
she's
the,
affiliated
the
with.
think tank or whatever that is. One America
You
Progress.
talk about a radical,
Okay.
Right.
You
That's
talk
got
about
John.
one radical.
That's got John Podesta. Right.
Yeah. I don't know the name.
okay,
I forget.
what's the point?
The point is as scary as hell that these people, they're running Joe Biden, period. They are running Joe Biden. Joe Biden's not running anything. Obama's running that White House.
Valerie Jarrett,
They're all running that White House.
Susan Rice,
Right.
Yep.
Podesta.
And
Rahm Emanuel.
We got the band back together again.
each head of each of those departments, they used to report to the president. The president gave them directions. The president kept them in line. They didn't get to go out and do their own thing. It's the exact opposite now. They come in and tell the president that they need this other thing for climate control. They need this for the DOT. They need this, okay? And they've already written up the executive order that gives them the power to do whatever, and he signs.
Sign here.
And he's already done more executive orders than all the
50
others.
some. They sent them in front of him.
And it's,
Yeah, every day they give him a new stack.
Right.
and
crazy.
it's just, when I started out with we need to get involved, it's really important to read the bills. And if you're a senator and congressman, I realize we don't have the power, but we have enough people in the House now, because there are still some moderate Democrats still alive out there.
Yeah.
And so when it's presented to them, if you send them an email nicely written that explains the seriousness of X, because they don't have time to drill down in detail. You picked one bill to read. I picked one bill to read. All right? They've got 20, 30 going across their desk every day.
All right. I have to be careful. I understand my mom's sending messages now, so I have to be careful.
So anyway,
No.
it's just really important that you then communicate to anyone that you can in Congress and say why a particular paragraph is dangerous. And if they get 2 of those even, and if they read it, they'll understand. They will understand. We need to help them digest some of these bills, period.
Period. Bruce, what say you? Final winners or losers? Something you wanted to say?
I got a couple. Well, I didn't. We hardly had a chance, but anyway,
I'm
I had a
sorry.
couple losers.
What you got? What did you have? Something?
Hillary. Anyone who
Bruce, did you have something that you didn't get to say today? Because
No,
all right. Because I don't want to go out of
I
here.
have lots of things I never get to say, but I mean, we got a note from a viewer who said, like, you guys maybe need to do 2 or 3 shows a week.
All right. There you go. I got no problem with that. I mean, where's the problem with that? Let's
No,
sign
we
it
have
up.
a problem with doing
There you go. I've never told them, Emily, we're working out their segment whether they like it or not. Okay.
Or do
All
we
right.
just show up at your house?
No, hell no. Excuse
Hillary
me.
Clinton. She
Is
said,
what did Tidman say? There's 2 answers, no and hell.
Yeah, yeah. The long answer is hell no.
All right, go ahead, sir.
whoever would vote, who whoever on the committee that would not vote to impeach Trump is a criminal.
A criminal.
And that's, of course, the pot calling the kettle black.
Criminal, you said.
Then we have Tessica Brown, a little gal down in Florida, used Gorilla Glue to style her hair. She's locked up for a while.
I was hoping I could get out of 45 minutes without Gorilla Glue.
Did you see
tell
that?
me a little bit about that.
Did you see that?
What happened, Bruce? She
used it to style her hair, and it's like, it just locked everything in place.
Just locked her head up.
And they said, "Oh, what do I do now?" And they said, "You got to use alcohol and
She's in the emergency room.
The Dawn detergent and like little pads and slowly.
Did I read a headline or something that she's suing Gorilla Glue
Yes,
now?
yes, she is.
Oh.
And my
Another
winner,
hot cup of coffee story.
Go ahead.
and my winner's an older guy, and I'm not really, a big fan of Harry Truman, but Harry Truman, said, "My choice early in life was either to be a piano player in a whorehouse or a politician. And to tell you the truth, after being a politician, there's hardly any difference."
That was a quote, folks.
That was a quote.
I'm going straight home. Harry Truman quotes, piano, keywords in there. I'm going to write
That's
that
it, I'm
down.
out.
All right, Rick.
Let's see. My loser of the week is Raphael Warnock. He's under criminal investigation for voter fraud and tax evasion.
In the great state of
Georgia, representing our state from Georgia here, Raphael Reverend Warnock. Anyway, my winner is Melissa DeRosa. She's the secretary to Como who spilled her guts, and now he's in hot water for all the fraudulent numbers.
Who?
Melissa DeRosa, secretary to Cuomo.
Mario Cuomo.
Mario the Pious. She spilled her guts the other day, and now he's in big time trouble for fraud. Fraudulent numbers on the deaths.
They played footsie with the COVID numbers in the nursing homes.
And I tell you what, I got to give it, I don't have it technically a winner, but I got to give a shout out to, is it Janice Dean?
Janice Dean from the Weather Machine.
Because I tell you what, she did not let this go.
No, she still is not letting it go.
Right, she didn't let this go and didn't.
Didn't let what go?
The nursing home deaths.
Oh.
The nursing home, and is it both of her in-laws?
Both of her in-laws.
Right, both of her
her
in-laws.
husband's parents died.
Yeah, her husband's parents died.
They got shipped to a home.
Got shipped to this, and she took it and went with it. And good for you, Janice Dean.
But the good news is they've already got a bill underway to award $7,000 to every family who lost a relative from COVID to pay funeral expenses.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Good.
but they'll have to sign a non-disclosure thing to get that check, so they can't ever say what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
That's
probably
how they're
they
buying-
can't ever
It's
sue. They can't
it's
ever
just
sue.
one fraud after another.
Did you do a winner? I know you did a couple
I
losers.
did. I did.
Who was your winner?
That was Cuomo's secretary for
Oh,
spilling her
Cuomo's
guts.
secretary. Oh, if
Cuomo
I
the-
would just pay attention.
Cuomo the Pious.
Oh, Janice Dean, way to go. And you?
I don't have time for winners and losers.
If you will condense it, bring it down. Can you
I
bring
know.
it down?
No.
No.
I got a loser for you.
Oh, you use our
Travel
winners and
restrictions to Florida. We can't go in and out of Florida. They're going to impose travel restrictions
Now
now.
they're just thinking about it.
Well, yeah, they're just thinking about a tax
But not
increase
from
too, but I
Georgia.
guarantee it's coming.
But I don't think it'll be from Georgia. We're the other open state. It's the states that have been closed.
Yeah, New York,
the
California,
states that are closed,
Yeah.
that have been closed, have far more COVID than the states that are open.
Yeah.
And they're used, New York and California's numbers. But
Go figure.
Brian, take us out of here on a high note.
All right, folks. This week, my winner of the week is, and I without the name up where I can read it.
the camera over there.
I hope I don't get it wrong, but it's Joey Correnti.
Joey Correnti.
Is that Joey Correnti
From
out in Wyoming? Okay, and Joey, we love the double six shooters.
That was great, though.
We love the double six shooters. Love it. And exactly. He's
Quick
ready
draw,
to go.
Joey.
But Joey kicked it off. He wrote the original censure language in the Carbon County, Wyoming Republican Party, and it went to every county. Every county, adjusted it a little bit, modified it, adopted it, took it to the Wyoming State Convention last Saturday, and censured Liz Cheney for her vote to impeach President Trump. I have an interview there. It was great because if you just want to sit back and you think about, do a lot of representatives treat their constituents, treat, the people a certain way? Go to fetchernews.com, find my interview with Joey Corrente, and it's also on YouTube. It was great. He will tell you, Liz Cheney is their only representative. They called her over and over. She never returned a phone call, never answered the phone, just
She
left
hasn't
message.
been in Wyoming this year.
Right.
You know.
It's just, I enjoyed the interview. You'll enjoy it. And it's happening everywhere. And folks, every day in a little bit of my time on the show, I'm talking about the soul of the Republican Party. And we're going to continue to talk about that next week, because what is going to happen within the Republic. Now you have something to say.
Yes, because I realize that's my winner is Joey Corrente, and I want to personally thank him for taking all that time to be on Fetch Your News. It was extremely helpful. It was helpful to hear what's happening in another part of the country, and I wish more representatives would take a few minutes to share what's going on in their state. It was really helpful and enlightening.
Thank you. Pet of the Week, don't you go anywhere. Humane Society of Blue Ridge. Our Pet of the Week, Star of the Week is waiting over here.
And he's cute as a button.
Yes. And that's
He's very excited, too.
You talking about me? Oh, yeah, I'm cute as a button right after these messages.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
It's been 4 generations of family ownership, tens of thousands of customers, and more Chevys than we'd ever be able to count. And more than 60 years later, when we say Days gets it done, we still mean it. With the North Georgia Mountains lowest Chevy prices, a huge selection, and outstanding customer care. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and let's get it done.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
North Georgia is truck country, and nobody discounts Chevy trucks like Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save $8,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save $5,700 on the all-new body style Equinox. Every Chevy truck and SUV discounted big. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, the low price leader in truck country.
Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done.
Find new roads.
Step on the stair.
Hey folks, we're back and we're at Circuit World in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And this is my who the pooch, who the pooch.
He has it.
Who's the pooch, who's the pooch, who's the poochie? Who is this pooch?
This is Loki.
Who the Loki?
L-O-K-I, Loki.
Who the Loki?
Loki's about 4 months old. He was an owner surrender because
what?
Either I believe the lady's dogs, one of the lady's dogs didn't like him, or he didn't like that dog. I can't remember.
Who could not love
which
this
one.
pooch?
I know, but he is adorable. He rode very well in the truck coming over here. He's a lot of energy. He's a puppy. He loves playing.
Who's the pooch? Who's the pooch?
He does love our other dog that's in.
Hey, over here.
That's at the shelter. That's about. Look, here you go.
Look where that guy.
Over here. Right here.
Over here.
Okay.
Over here.
There you go.
Over here.
That's about the same age, and they play together. So I'm not going to say that he can't be with another dog because that's not true.
It's correct.
You just have to come to a meet and greet, and of course we are still following all of the restrictions. So you have to please make an appointment to come out and see him. But you can always go to our website and fill out a pre-adoption form, and then make an appointment to come in and meet him. And I'm telling you, you will fall in love.
I'm getting him all worked up.
I know, but isn't he sweetie? He is
Yes.
just such a sweet dog.
He wants to play.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's a lot of fun. He likes squeaky toys, but right now he's into the food. He's very food motivated, so training would not be a problem with
Owner
him.
surrender. I was trying to listen. I don't pay.
That's okay. You never
I don't
know.
pay attention. I was trying to listen. 4 months, about 4 months.
About 4 months old.
So
uh-huh.
he's going to be a big poochie.
Yep.
Big lovable.
Oh
pooch.
yeah, big lovable poochie.
Yes.
Just a very good companion. He'd be good because he does have some energy. He'd be good for a hiker, traveler, someone who wants kisses. He will get on the furniture, so he'd be a nice bed partner, or outside on the, or just watching TV on the couch.
He is ready to go. You've already.
Oh, he does have to be. I don't believe he's been neutered. I don't remember.
Okay. So he's almost ready to go.
But yeah, he's had his shots and everything. He might be neutered. I don't remember. But yeah, just you would have to come out and meet him. Make sure that he's the dog for you. We like to make sure the dogs and the people are the right fit.
He's the dog for you.
And fill out the pre-adoption form. Yeah, he still needs to be neutered.
Who's the dog for you? Okay, I don't know. Me and the pooch have to settle down.
You're getting hot.
Yeah, quit playing, pooch. Yeah. So the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, I have to tell you folks, this makes my week to get, and I know things happen, but I get really upset when you send me a message you can't be here. Well,
I had
I'm
an
sorry,
incident
I hate
with
to
my
be-
own dogs.
I hate to say it, it's not like you. Don't take that wrong. It's my pooch.
I
that
know.
had a
Oh, I
show.
know. It's the pooch. You want
I wanna
the
be
pooch.
clear.
Yeah,
Rena, I want to thank Rena so much. She does this every week. She tries to get here every single week with one of these lovable pets. Oh, you know what? Do you ever watch the Puppy Bowl?
I do. I didn't see it this year.
Oh,
Puppy
we
and-
just-
I think there's a kitten one too, isn't there?
Well, there was kittens this year too, and so you know I have a cat.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Now it's a fat cat.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God, this cat is just a fat cat. Sits on the front porch.
There you go. Good boy.
So, the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, thank you, Rena, every week for bringing these beautiful pets over. We want to find a forever home for each and one of these lovable fur balls. We have plenty of cats, dogs out there. We don't have ostriches or anything like that,
No.
right? Just
Cats,
yeah.
dogs,
All right,
kittens,
just checking.
puppies. We have 2 puppies currently. We have wonderful dogs out there. We still have Trixie.
We don't have
She's
any
here.
exotic animals.
No.
No monkeys,
No,
nothing like
sorry.
that.
Nothing like that.
Okay, sorry, we're sticking to the dogs and cats out there. Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org. Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org. You go there. You can also find their Facebook page, Humane Society of Blue Ridge. See the pictures of all of these. Yes, I love the Poochie. Yeah, I love it. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me like that.
Call us at 706-632-4357. We are at 171 Mineral Springs Road, which is just off of Aska. Give us a call. Go on the website, as Brian said. If you're interested in Loki, fill out a pre-adoption form and put Loki's name on there. And if you get there and you find out Loki is not something that you want to bring home, we have others.
Don't say that.
Well, I'm just saying. I got to give credit to the others, you know.
I do. But
We have
Loki-
others that might fit your family a little bit better. We have adults and we have 2 puppies that are right at 4 and 6 months, I believe. And we have dogs ranging from 2 years to 4 or 5 years. So we have active dogs and we have lazy dogs. So come on
Loki.
out and see if you can find a fit for your family. And Loki really is looking for his forever home.
Let's find a forever home for Loki. I know. I would love to take you, Loki. I really would. Quit crying. Okay. Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org. And we want to thank all of the great volunteers and the help, everybody that works out there that helps out in every way, employees, each and every one. They do a great job. And look, folks, I just want to say, you know what? When we hear owner surrender, if for some reason you can't take care of your pet, something's come up or anything has happened, please contact them first and foremost, okay? Because we try to do everything we can here to find homes for all of our furry creatures, and they're great. I mean, I love it. Changes things for me throughout the week, you know, having my dogs with me.
Oh, yes, of course it
and
does.
now my cat.
Yes.
Okay. We will be back Monday morning at 8 a.m. Until then, you have a safe weekend. We've enjoyed being here with you Friday. And don't forget, Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org. Emily, I think it's time for us to get out of here. And it's over. We're done. See you Monday, 8 a.m. Thank you, Rena.